WD-40 is sitting in your garage right now, but mechanics use it very differently than most drivers think. One spray could literally save you thousands of dollars. Today, I'm revealing the WD-40 secrets we use in the shop to prevent major repairs. Real fixes, tested, simple, and no gimmicks. I'll show you where to spray so you don't spend $10,000 on a mechanic that WD-40 can fix. These are mechanic-proven WD-40 tricks I've relied on for years. Don't skip, you'll save a lot. Let's dive in with trick number 15. Prevent rust on underbody. The underside of your car is a war zone. Every single day, it faces rain, mud, road salt, and those caustic de-icing chemicals that eat through metal like battery acid. Your control arms, subframes, and suspension mounts are getting destroyed down there, and you can't even see it happening. Once rust takes hold, it spreads like cancer. Before you know it, bolts seize solid, structural parts weaken, and you're staring at thousands in rust-related repairs. Here's the prevention strategy that mechanics use on their own vehicles. Safely jack up your car or get it on a lift during your next oil change. Spray a generous coat of WD-40 on exposed undercarriage components. Focus on suspension joints, frame edges, exhaust hangers, and anywhere you see bare metal. The formula creates a water-repelling barrier that blocks moisture, salt, and oxygen. The three ingredients rust needs to survive. It's not a permanent solution like a full rubberized undercoating, but it buys you serious time and costs almost nothing. Reapply every 3 to 4 months, especially before winter when road salt attacks everything. This 10-minute habit can literally double the lifespan of critical components and save you from rusted brake lines, seized bolts, and frame damage that turns your car into a money pit. Trick number 14. Dry out a flooded ignition system. Picture this nightmare. You just powered through a massive puddle, your engine starts coughing violently, and suddenly it dies completely. You turn the key, nothing but cranking. No start, no spark, just pure frustration. Most drivers immediately think it's a dead battery or catastrophic engine damage and start calling tow trucks. But here's what mechanics know. 9 times out of 10, the real problem is just moisture sneaking into your ignition system. Here's the fix that shops charge $200 for. Pop your hood and grab your WD-40. Spray it directly on your ignition coils, spark plug boots, and distributor cap if you have one. The formula literally forces water out of those electrical components and creates a protective coating so current flows properly again. Wait about 60 seconds, then try starting your car. It'll fire right back up like nothing ever happened. WD-40 literally stands for Water Displacement 40th Formula. This is exactly what it was invented to do back in the 1950s. One quick spray saves you a tow truck bill, diagnostic fees, and hours of your life sitting in a repair shop waiting room. Now that we've saved your ignition, let's talk about freeing up parts that are welded together by rust. Trick number 13, loosen rust on exhaust. Exhaust bolts are the absolute worst. They live in hell. Constant extreme heat, road salt, moisture, and temperature cycling that would destroy anything. When you need to replace a muffler, catalytic converter, or oxygen sensor, those exhaust bolts are almost always rusted completely solid. You lean on your wrench with everything you've got, and all you get is rounded bolt heads, stripped threads, or worse, bolts that snap clean off. Once that happens, you're drilling, extracting, and retapping threads. That's a repair that goes from $100 to $500 real fast. Here's the penetrating trick that actually works. Spray WD-40 generously on the rusted exhaust bolts and let it soak for at least 15 to 20 minutes. For bolts that are seriously seized, let it sit overnight. The formula creeps into the microscopic gaps where rust and heat have fused the threads together, breaking up corrosion from the inside out. After soaking, give each bolt a few light taps with a hammer. That vibration helps the WD-40 penetrate even deeper into the threads. Now try your wrench again using steady pressure, not jerking motions. You'll feel it break free with way less force. This same technique works on exhaust manifold bolts, heat shields, and any fastener that's been cooked by exhaust heat. One $5 can saves you from snapped studs, expensive extraction jobs, and the nightmare of drilling into your exhaust manifold. Trick number 12, restore foggy headlights. Your headlights look like they're covered in cataracts, foggy, yellowed, and barely cutting through the darkness at night. That's not just cosmetic embarrassment. That oxidized haze reduces your visibility by up to 50% and makes you a legitimate hazard on the road. Most people drop $100 on restoration kits with sandpaper and polishing compounds, or they spend $500 plus replacing the entire headlight assembly. But here's the quick fix mechanics use when they need instant results. Wash your headlights thoroughly with soap and water, then dry them completely. Spray a light mist of WD-40 over the lens and wipe it in with a clean microfiber cloth using circular motions. Within seconds, the clarity comes back like you just replaced the headlights. The formula breaks down surface oxidation and creates a slick, water-repelling layer that lets light punch through properly again. Now I'll be straight with you. This isn't a permanent fix. The oxidation will creep back in 2 to 3 weeks. But for an inspection, road trip, or emergency night driving situation where you need clear headlights right now, this 60-second hack is perfect. And it costs you basically nothing compared to restoration kits or new assemblies. Clear headlights help you see, but this next trick keeps a critical component working smoothly. Trick number 11. Keep your fuel door operating smoothly. You press the fuel door release button and absolutely nothing happens. You press it again, still stuck. Now you're at the gas pump pulling and prying at the door like a caveman while everyone watches you struggle. Sound familiar? That's because fuel door latches collect dirt, road grime, moisture, and rust over time, causing the spring mechanism and latch to seize up completely. Here's the maintenance trick that prevents this humiliation. Open your fuel door and spray a small amount of WD-40 directly on the hinge, latch mechanism, and release spring. Let it soak in for a few seconds. Then open and close the door several times to work the lubricant into all the moving parts. Wipe away any extra residue with a cloth so it doesn't collect dirt. The formula breaks up grime, frees sticky movement, and leaves a protective layer that prevents rust from forming again. Do this every 2 to 3 months, especially before rainy or winter seasons when moisture attacks everything. Your fuel door will pop open every single time like it did when the car rolled off the assembly line. This 2-minute habit saves you from broken latches, bent fuel doors, prying tools, and the absolute embarrassment of wrestling with your car while people pump gas and stare at you. Before we get to the really money-saving tricks, do me a favor and hit that like button. And one like actually helps us keep making content that saves you money. Done. Awesome. Now let's talk about wiper blades. Trick number 10, bring dead wiper blades back to life. You hit the wipers during a rainstorm, and instead of a clear windshield, you get streaks, chattering, and that god-awful squeaking sound that makes you want to drive off a cliff. Most people immediately run to the auto parts store and buy new blades. But here's the truth mechanics know. Those blades aren't necessarily dead. They're just stiff, dried out, and covered in oily road film that prevents them from making clean contact with the glass. Here's how to resurrect them. Lift the wipers off the windshield and clean the rubber edge first with a damp cloth to remove dirt, bugs, and grit. Then spray a tiny bit of WD-40 onto a soft cloth, never directly on the blade itself, and wipe it along the rubber edge from end to end. The formula reconditions the rubber, restores flexibility, and dissolves that oily film causing all the streaking. After treating the blades, wipe your windshield clean with glass cleaner to remove any WD-40 residue. You'll notice quieter, smoother sweeps immediately. This trick can extend the life of your wiper blades by 2 to 3 months, especially in extreme summer heat or freezing winter cold. Just remember, this is a temporary revival, not magic. Eventually, you'll need new blades when the rubber actually tears or chunks come off. But this buys you time and saves you $30 to $40 when you're not ready to replace them yet. Wipers clear your view outside, but this next trick makes your interior look showroom fresh. Trick number 9, clean and shine dashboard. A dusty, faded dashboard makes even a spotless car feel neglected and cheap. You wipe it down with a regular cloth and literally 5 minutes later, it looks dusty again, like nothing happened. Most people waste money on expensive interior detailing sprays that leave everything feeling greasy and smelling like a chemical factory exploded. But here's the professional detailer secret that costs pennies. Spray a small amount of WD-40 onto a microfiber cloth. Never spray it directly on the dashboard, or you'll get overspray all over your windshield and create a dangerous glare. Wipe across your dashboard, door panels, and center console using smooth, even strokes. It cuts through dust, fingerprints, UV damage, and old protectant buildup instantly, leaving a smooth satin finish that looks fresh and new without feeling slippery or greasy. Plus, it leaves behind a thin, anti-static layer that actually repels dust for 2 to 3 weeks instead of attracting it like those cheap sprays do. For textured surfaces or air vents, use a soft detailing brush or cotton swab dipped in WD-40 to lift dirt from tight spots before wiping clean. Your interior will look showroom fresh in under 5 minutes. And unlike those overpriced greasy sprays that make your dash look like an oil slick, this actually looks natural and lasts. Now let's talk about a problem that's probably annoying you right now. Trick number 8, freeze-stuck license plate bolts. Those tiny license plate screws seem innocent until you actually need to remove them. Whether you're switching plates, installing a new frame, or fixing rust damage, you grab your screwdriver and nothing. They won't budge. Rain, road salt, and humidity have corroded those bolts into place. You push harder and either strip the head completely or snap the bolt off, leaving you with a bigger problem than you started with. Here's how to free them without destruction. Spray WD-40 directly on each license plate screw and around the edges where rust has built up. Let it sit for 3 to 5 minutes to penetrate the corrosion. The formula seeps into the threads and breaks up the rust that's gluing everything together. Then use the proper screwdriver, not a cheap one that'll strip the head, and apply steady pressure while turning. The screws should break free smoothly. If one's really stubborn, spray again and give it a light tap with a screwdriver handle to vibrate the WD-40 deeper. Once they're out, clean the threads with a wire brush and apply a fresh coat of WD-40 before reinstalling. This prevents future seizing and makes the next removal easy. This 5-minute trick saves you from destroyed screw heads, broken bolts, and having to drill out and retap holes in your bumper. A repair that's way more annoying and expensive than it should be. Trick number 7, cleans grease off engine bay. Pop your hood and take an honest look. Oil stains on the valve cover, grease splattered on the engine block, grime caked on hoses and brackets. It's not just ugly. That buildup can actually hide developing leaks and make it harder to spot problems before they become expensive failures. Most people think you need expensive engine degreasers or a pressure washer to clean this up. Here's the mechanic's trick. Spray WD-40 on greasy engine components, not on belts, never on belts, and let it sit for about a minute. The formula breaks down oil, grease, and road grime at the molecular level. Then wipe it away with shop towels or old rags. For really caked on grease, use a detailing brush to agitate the WD-40 before wiping. The engine bay comes clean without harsh chemicals, or the risk of water getting into electrical components like a pressure washer causes. This works amazing on valve covers, intake manifolds, coolant reservoirs, and metal brackets. Just avoid spraying it on rubber belts, brake components, or oxygen sensors where it could cause problems. A clean engine bay not only looks professional, it also makes it way easier to spot fresh oil leaks, coolant seeps, or other issues before they strand you on the side of the road with a blown engine. Trick number 6 makes chrome shine like new. Chrome bumpers, trim pieces, and wheels are supposed to make your car look sharp and expensive. But the second they get dull, rusty, or streaked with water spots, they transform your ride from sharp to shabby in seconds. Most people reach for expensive chrome polish or specialty cleaners that cost $15 to $20 a bottle. But here's what professional detailers know. WD-40 works just as well, if not better, and costs a fraction of the price. Spray a light mist of WD-40 on chrome bumpers, trim, exhaust tips, or wheels, and wipe it with a clean microfiber cloth using circular motions. It breaks down surface rust, road tar, brake dust, and water spots instantly. The chrome's mirror shine pops back to life like you just installed brand new parts. Even stubborn oxidation and pitting disappear temporarily. And here's the bonus. WD-40 leaves behind a thin protective layer that keeps the shine longer and helps repel future rust, water spots, and brake dust. It's not just a cleaner, it's a protectant. One application can make 20-year-old chrome look showroom fresh. This works on vintage cars, motorcycle exhaust pipes, and even chrome wheels. Good luck finding a $5 solution that delivers professional results this consistently. Chrome looks good, but sometimes your paint looks worse because of what's stuck to it. Trick number 5, remove paint transfer. You come back to your parked car and there's a bright streak of someone else's paint across your door or bumper. Maybe you misjudged a tight parking spot and scraped a concrete pillar. That paint transfer makes your car look like it survived a demolition derby. Most people panic and call body shops for quotes that start at $300 for repainting. But here's what those body shops don't want you to know. If it's just paint transfer, meaning the other car's paint sitting on top of your clear coat, not a deep scratch into your paint, WD-40 can remove it completely. Spray it directly on the paint transfer and let it sit for about a minute to soften the foreign paint. Then take a clean microfiber cloth and rub in circular motions with moderate pressure. The transferred paint lifts off like magic, revealing your original paint underneath completely undamaged. For stubborn transfers, spray again and use a clay bar or plastic scraper with the WD-40 as lubricant. Once the transfer is gone, wash the area with car soap to remove WD-40 residue, then wax it for protection. This only works on paint transfer, not actual scratches or chips in your paint. But when it works, it saves you hundreds in bodywork for damage that looks way worse than it actually is. Seriously, who pays a body shop $400 when a $5 spray fixes it in 10 minutes? Trick number 4, erase old window tint adhesive. You finally peeled off that ugly purple window tint that's been bubbling and fading for years. Victory, right? Wrong. Now you're left with sticky adhesive residue all over the glass that looks absolutely horrible and won't come off no matter how much you scrub. Razor blades risk scratching the glass or cutting into your defroster lines. Most adhesive removers are expensive and smell like a chemical weapon. Here's the solution that actually works. Spray WD-40 generously on the adhesive residue and let it soak for 2 to 3 minutes. The formula penetrates and softens the old glue, breaking the bond with the glass. Then use a plastic scraper or old credit card to gently scrape the adhesive off in long strokes. It rolls right off in sticky clumps. For stubborn spots, spray more WD-40 and let it sit longer. Once all the adhesive is gone, clean the window with glass cleaner to remove any oily film. Your windows will be crystal clear with zero haze or residue. This works on side windows, rear windows, and even windshields if you're careful. The same trick removes old registration stickers, parking permits, and dealer decals. A 10-minute job that would have cost you $50 to $100 at a tint shop if you paid them to do it. Trick number 3, keeps weather stripping soft. Those rubber strips around your doors, trunk, and windows are your car's first line of defense against the elements. They seal out water leaks, block wind noise, keep dust from infiltrating your cabin, and prevent doors from freezing shut in winter. But constant exposure to sun, heat, freezing temperatures, and ozone makes them dry out, crack, and lose flexibility. Once they fail, every rainstorm becomes an invitation for water to pour into your cabin and soak your carpet and seats. Here's the preservation trick that takes 5 minutes and saves you hundreds. Wipe all your rubber weather seals clean with a damp cloth to remove dirt, grime, and old protectant buildup. Then spray a bit of WD-40 onto a clean rag, not directly on the rubber, and run it along all the door seals, trunk seals, and window seals. The formula rejuvenates the rubber, restores flexibility, prevents cracking, and leaves a moisture-resistant layer that stops doors from freezing shut in winter. Do this every 2 to 3 months, and your seals will stay soft, pliable, and effective for years longer than neglected ones. Clean seals keep water out, but this next one could literally save your life in a crash. Trick number 2, fixing a sticking blocked seatbelt. Your seatbelt refuses to retract properly. You buckle up, and instead of snapping back smoothly into place, it just hangs there loose and sloppy. Or worse, you try to pull it out, and it locks up completely, forcing you to yank it multiple times before it finally releases. This isn't just annoying, it's a legitimate safety issue. If the belt doesn't sit snugly against your body, it won't protect you properly in a crash. And a belt that won't extend could prevent you from buckling up at all. Here's the fix that mechanics charge $150 to do. Gently pull the seatbelt all the way out until it locks at full extension. Use a clean cloth dampened with soapy water to wipe down the entire belt webbing. You'll be shocked at how much dirt, dust, body oils, and spilled drinks have built up over the years. Let it dry completely. Then spray a very small amount of WD-40 into the retractor mechanism at the base where the belt feeds in. Don't soak it, just a quick 1-second spritz. Slowly guide the belt back in, then pull it out and let it retract several times to distribute the lubricant through the mechanism. A 5-minute DIY saves you from a $200 plus seatbelt replacement at the dealer. And finally, the number one WD-40 trick that every single car owner needs to know. Trick number 1. Stop battery terminal corrosion dead. Pop your hood right now and look at your battery terminals. See that white, green or crusty blue buildup covering the posts and cable clamps? That's corrosion. Acidic deposits that slowly strangle your electrical system like a boa constrictor. It causes weak starts where the engine barely cranks over, flickering headlights, mysterious electrical gremlins, and can even destroy your alternator if left unchecked. I've seen batteries fail prematurely just because of corrosion blocking the connection. Mechanics love this problem because they charge $50 to $100 to service your battery, which takes them about 3 minutes. Here's how to do it yourself and never pay for it again. Disconnect your battery cables. Always negative first to prevent sparks. Then spray WD-40 generously onto the corroded terminals and cable clamps. Let it soak for about a minute to break down all that crusty buildup. Then scrub firmly with a wire brush or old toothbrush until the terminals are shiny bare metal again. You'll see that corrosion fall right off in chunks. Wipe everything down with a dry rag to remove loosened debris. Reconnect the cables, positive first this time, negative last, and make sure they're tight. This is literally a $5 DIY fix that shops charge you $100 for while you sit in their waiting room drinking burnt coffee. How many of these tricks did you already know? Drop a comment below and tell me which one shocked you the most. If this video just saved you from throwing money at mechanics for fixes, you can handle yourself in minutes. Smash that subscribe button for more money-saving automotive content that actually works. Your wallet will thank you. And if you want even more ways to keep your car running like new without breaking the bank, click the video on screen now. Trust me, mechanics really don't want you watching that one either.